Hi everyone, it's good to be with you. So what's the deal about waking up? What's the deal about becoming conscious? Uh, in other words, what's in it for me? Why wake up? Well, how it looks to me is that we don't really get a choice about waking up, about becoming conscious. It's happening. What we can, though, um, come to appreciate is the awakening that's happening, and come to recognize the, if you like, the signs and the signals in our experience that what is happening, awakening, is occurring, and we get to enjoy the reshaping, if you like, of our perception, of our experience of life. And one of the capacities, if you like, that wakes up as we become conscious, as we wake up in the course of living, is the capacity to allow. The capacity to allow things to be the way they are. Now, this notion might be familiar to you, to allow things to be the way they are. And you might think it to be something that you have to learn, to acquire, the capacity to be non-judgmental. But from how it looks to me is that allowing is a natural arm of consciousness. It's an aspect of our true nature. And there are many hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of times already in your lifetime where I invite you to consider that you have simply allowed things to be the way they are. Events have happened and you haven't given those events much thought. And so there's not much to do in your mind about what has happened. You have allowed things to be the way they are. So I would invite you that there's no practice of allowing. It's this capacity to allow things to be the way they are wakes up as we become conscious. And the practice, if there is one, is to simply recognize more and more the subtlety and the moments when allowing is occurring, when events are happening and there isn't much thinking going on about what's happening. Because when we don't add extra thinking to what's happening, we are able to move with what's happening with not much on what's unfolding. What do I mean by that? When we engage thinking, when we engage our conditioned thinking, we enter into a perception of good, bad, right, wrong. I like that, I don't like that. We become judgmental. So when we avoid entering into that good, bad, right, wrong thinking, we cultivate what it is to have not a lot of thought on our mind about a situation. And it's the not a lot on our mind, which is an open mind. And an open mind is a portal to our true nature. Just like the sky that allows clouds to come and go, our true nature allows all events to come and go, all experiences to come and go. Our true nature, like the sky, is not dented by events. The sky is not dented, diminished, or injured by clouds. So by allowing things to be the way they are and being conscious of those moments when allowing is simply happening naturally and respecting those moments, that's the practice. We cultivate our capacity to allow to grow. We cultivate an experience of being the sky, uninjured, unaffected by what's coming and going. Now, this smooths the way, this makes the way more clear and obvious to us how to navigate life. Because often an objection to the notion of allowing things and cultivating this capacity that I hear is that, well, if we simply allow things to be the way they are, then we're not going to be active anymore. We're going to be like a doormat, that we're going to be overrun by life. And I would suggest to you that simply the conditioned mind trying to regain some lost footing in this. Because what I've seen is that when we allow things to be the way they are, what we remove is resistance to the moment. The I don't like this posture. We remove that posture of resistance. And the situation or event or circumstance that was previously resisted out of judgment of dislike, that situation can sometimes shapeshift and dissolve simply by removing resistance. Because in the world of energy and movement, what we resist is what persists. If we're resisting a situation, a person, an event, a feeling, we are feeding that person, situation, event dynamic with our resistance. We give it extra charge. So when we remove resistance and when we allow things to be the way they are, we take away the food for what it is we previously were fighting or objecting to. So when resistance is out the way, we get ourselves out the way of life flowing more freely and us being able to recognize the free flowing current of life as opposed to fighting in the weeds over there. So the posture or the capacity of allowing is one where we become more skillful in navigating life, not becoming more susceptible to being overrun by life. So I invite you to pay some attention to the moments where things are happening and there's not much thinking going on about what's happening, and to recognize this is your natural capacity to allow things to be the way they are, just to recognize it. And in that recognition, turning towards consciousness, becoming more conscious, and this capacity will continue to grow.